Do you have a soul? It's Brain Muffin back with another beer review. And today we have a local from Rivertown Brewing here in Cincinnati called the Soulless Scarlet Sour Ale. Now Jason's been moving to sours. He's dropped a lot of his hoppy beers. So there are some beer reviews in my channel now that are beers that Rivertown no longer makes, or at least no one seems to have right now. Maybe they're seasonal now. We'll have to check that out. But we'll get some, as part of my focus on trying to get more and more local Cincinnati breweries and beers reviewed, here's another one. Now, I've never had this, but my suspicion is it's going to be red. It is a Flanders style ale, so I'm expecting some real sour notes from all the wild yeast strains. These are, you kind of open up everything and hopefully you don't get infected. No bacteria. Carbonation wise, so it is kind of a reddish brown coloring, a little bit less red than I was expecting, basically based off the name. And I chose a glass from Unibrew up in Canada. They kind of do French Canada style. They do a lot of Belgian style ales and things like that. So this one isn't too cold. It's been sitting out a while, so I'm very surprised by the carbonation. The last beer I did from Rivertown had very limited carbonation, so I don't, maybe that's their thing now. Wow. That one, that's a pretty mild sour. There's hints. It's a little sourness on the nose, but actually there's some malt sweetness there. Maybe I'm just doing these way too warm. But it does have a nice dark, deep red. So I guess it's more of a purplish. You know, there's some brownish red there. Kind of a deep purple. Not kind of like a wine color, but it is red. And that's usually done from a little bit of roasted malt, and depending on how much you use and how long you put it in there and all that stuff. Sometimes some places will put black patent malt, in fact, to give it a red color, just a tiny bit. I mean, as a home brewer, you might do an ounce or half an ounce for over 10-12 pounds of pale malt, and you get a reddish color. The idea is to get the coloring without the malt, the bitterness from that roasted malt. Yeah, it is getting a bit more sour as I drink more as it warms up. But it has a nice pucker factor, but this isn't I don't find this a really overpowering sour beer. If you don't like sour beers, this might be a decent introduction. I'm going to give this a 4.5, in fact. Basically because of the style ale. And it's that wild yeast strain. It's not only sour, you're going to get this kind of strange bitterness floating around. It almost thinks that the beer is not supposed to be this way. The farmhouse ales are even worse. Flanders is an area in Belgium along near France, if I remember correctly. But the farmhouse ales, the French farmhouse ales, smell like the beer has gone way bad. I mean, you get hay and, I mean, it's just really crazy farmhouse aromas and flavors. This is actually fairly refreshing, considering it's not really bubbly and considering its dark red coloring. Many times the sours that are really refreshing are very pale, almost yellow. They almost look like lemonade sometimes. Very fizzy, but on a hot summer's day, they really hit the spot. There's enough sourness to be refreshing. So this has kind of has a lingering sourness that it has like a slight, I want to say slight hint of vinegar, but almost like a red wine vinegar. Not really powerful, just kind of there. But it doesn't linger very long. And like I said, on the nose, it does have hints of sour, but I've had some sour beers that are more sour than this, and I've had some that are less, so I'm kind of in middle of the road sour. But I think this is a decent introduction to sour beers. And but it's probably one of these, if you're going to be a sour beer fan, this one's going to be a little mild, but it could be one of those you're trying to back away. You just want a sour beer, but you don't want to just destroy your tongue for the rest of the night. I think this is going to be a great beer to do that. Pairing this is going to be really interesting because there's not a huge flavor profile other than the sourness, and you could probably have this with a lot of food, but I wouldn't have it with anything sweet. But you could probably do salty, you could probably do spicy, you could probably do you know, your standard American fare. But I really, you know what's kind of strange is I get this hankering for smoked meats with this. But it's fatty smoked meats, not your turkey sausage or bacon or anything like that, but real heavy pork. I think that the fattiness will coat your tongue and kind of scrape off the sourness so it doesn't linger too much. So that each time is kind of it's more refreshing, almost like spicy sausage. I mean, hot sausage, that type of thing. Worst, almost Germanic in many ways. Definitely some nice goulash soup, paprika, currywurst would go well with it. I guess, you know, obviously in that Flanders area, you could probably get a lot of foods with garlic, snails. I mean, the French cuisine, not Italian. The kind of heavier French cuisine and white sauces with garlic, these would go well with. But it's that fat, right? You get the cream, you get the milk fat, and that type of stuff. Help cleanse your tongue. So it doesn't come overpowering. It doesn't linger. I'm not sure if this one says what it's. I want to say the alcohol content's relatively high. But there's no burn from that. It's a nice, like I said, this is a nice introduction to sour beers. I think Jason's and his brewers have done a very good job with this. It has a nice mellow tone and good. So overall, I gave it a 4.5. So I really like this. It's very good. So thanks, Jason. Thanks for your sour beers. And look forward to there's more to come from Rivertown. We'll also do Roebling and some other ones soon. And there's some other versions of things that I haven't tried. Definitely gonna do. All right, so have you had this beer? Like it? You don't like sour beers? You think sour beers are horrible? You think they're great? Let's talk about it. Let's find out. And thanks for the comments. Thanks for clicking like. Thanks for subscribing wherever they hide it. And we will see you. Bye. All right, I only have 13 minutes left on this card, dogs, and then I have to format it. Sit down. Go sit down. Unibrew. Hey, it's Brian Lake.